Okay, class, I just graded test 11, which is test number 3 for us, and I was not super happy with how you did. So I'm going to give you another chance to take this test to get a better grade. I'm not sure if I'm going to take the better grade or if I'm just going to average the two or what I'm going to do yet, but I want everyone to get the concepts that were on this test before we move on. The grades range from 68 to I think 92. There was like 1 or 2 C's, mostly B's and 2 A's. So I don't like to see C's at all, so we need to get rid of those by understanding the concepts. I'm going to go through the problems. You can take notes, but when you go to take your test, you cannot use your notes. This is going to be another formal test that you're going to take home. So I'm going to do the ones, which will end up being most of them. There's some that nobody or just one person missed, so I'm not going to do those. So we're going to start with problem number 2. And it says, Helen found that the product of 6 in a number is increased by 12. The result is 3 more than the product of 3 in the number. What is the number? So Helen found the product of 6 in a number is increased by 12. Most of you got this at least set up right. The result is 3 more than the product of 3 in the number. So it's 3 more than 3 times the number. Usually if it says 3 more or 3 less than, you put it at the end. But it would have been okay if you put 3 plus 3n. Now we subtract 3n. Remember I said subtract the variables first. If you know you got this one right, you can just skip down to the next one. You can fast forward through the YouTube video. And then subtract 12. And we're going to get 3n equals negative 9. N equals negative 3. Alright, next one, number 3. Most of you got this one right. It says use 4 unit multipliers to convert 120 square inches to square yards. I'll just do it really quickly here. 120 square inches. It says to use 4 unit multipliers, so right away you write your 4 unit multipliers. 3. And we want it to go to square yards, so I'm going to put that at the end. We need to get rid of 2 inches here. So we're going to have inches, inches. We're going to go inches to feet to yard. So there's 12 inches in 1 foot, 12 inches to 1 foot. The inches will cross out. We're trying to get to yards, so we're going to have to, this was 12 inches in 1 foot. We're getting to yards, so we're going to put our feet down here. We have 2 feet to cross out. We want to end up with yards. Most of you got this right, that's why I'm going so fast. So we get, there's 3 feet in 1 yard, 3 feet in 1 yard. The feet will cross out, and you're going to get 120 over 12 squared, or you can put 12 times 12, 3 squared. If you didn't have square yards, you lost a point. Or if it was in 2 problems, I just took off 1 point for both problems. Okay, onward. Number 4. The perimeter of the square, find the area. I think everyone got that one right, so we're going to skip that one. 5. You had an inequality that looked like this. It started at 0. It was filled in, and it filled in the rest in the negative direction. Most of you got this one right too. So you had to write the positive, the inequality that describes it. So this is all the values of x are less than or equal to 0. And then a negated inequality, so it's x is not greater than 0. So it's the totally opposite of this, and it's crossed out. Okay, 7. We're just going to keep moving here. If you need to slow it down or look at it, you can do that. Negative x minus 4 equals 3x. Hopefully I copied these right. It's a little dark in the room I'm in. 5 times x plus 2. Okay, simple equation to solve. So we're going to use our distributive property. Now, a couple of you had troubles with the distributive property. You take 3 times that, and you get negative 3x. And then you take 3 times negative 4, so you get negative 12. That equals 3x, and you do the same thing with the 5. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 2 is 10. You have to clean this side up a little bit before you start moving things. 3x minus 12 equals 8x plus 10. Take all the x's to one side, minus 8x. So you're going to get minus 11x minus 12 equals 10. And then we're just going to add 12 to both sides. Some of you were just adding wrong, subtracting wrong, just doing silly errors. So you get 11x equals 22, and you divide both sides by negative 11, and we get, I'll just do that there, negative 11, so you get x equals negative 2. Whoops, I didn't do that very good. Okay, I have to get a new amount of space here, so I'm going to get some more space. Hold on one second. Okay, ready to go. Okay, so we're on number, hold on one second. We are on number 8. Sorry, this is a little painful. 8, I'm going to skip that one. I think most people got that one right. Let's go on to 9. 9 was if x plus 2 minus 5x, whoops, I'm copying the wrong one. If x plus 2 minus 5x equals 14, what is the value? It's negative 14. What is the value of 2x plus 4? Okay, this one you solve and you find x, and then you put the value of x in this expression. So we get negative 4x, negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4x, plus 2 equals negative 14, negative 4x equals negative 16, x equals 4. Then you take that value and you put it in here for your x. So you get 2 times 4 plus 4, so you get 8 plus 4 is 12. I think most of you got that one right. Okay, 10. This was a bad one, so everyone should be watching this one. I think 1 or 2 people got this one right. 2x plus y equals 10 minus 3y. This one says solve for y. Solve for y. So you want to get the y's together on one side, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add this 3y to this 3y. And I'm going to get 2x plus 4y equals 10. And I'm trying to get y by itself, so I need to subtract 2x from both sides. So I get 4y equals negative 2x plus 10. And then we're going to divide everything by 4, and we're almost there. So we get y equals negative 1/2, we always reduce, x plus 5/2. And that's all you do on that one. Okay, after 10 is where all the problems really begin. So I'm going to try to go a little bit slower on these without boring you to death. As I said, you can always fast forward and rewatch and do whatever you want with these videos. Actually 11 was fine. Find the greatest common factor, that was fine. 12, big one. Big problem zone. Huge problem zone. 2x squared, y squared, minus 8, x to the 4th, y to the 4th. All divided by 2x squared, y squared. The directions to this say simply simplify. So simplify. And then it gives you a clue. It says factor if necessary. That's a huge clue. Yes, you need to factor. So we're looking like what you did in problem 10. You're looking for what's common between these two terms. So you look, 2 goes into 2 and 8, so 2 comes out. There's an x squared in both of these, so that comes out. There's a y squared in both of those, so those come out. You're taking out what's common between these two terms. On the bottom, there's nothing you can do in the denominator, so you just write 2x squared, y squared. Okay, once you take it out, you say, what's left? Well, I took this out, which means I'm dividing by whatever I took out. So 2x squared y squared divided by 2x squared y squared is 1. You can't leave it blank, because you need to be able to put this back in and get what you started with. Subtract 2 goes into 8 4 times. We took out 2 x's, so we have x squared. We took out 2 y's, so we have y squared. When I multiply this back through, I have to get what I started with. So 2x squared y squared minus 8, this would be minus 8x to the fourth y to the fourth. So I do get it, and these cross out, and then I end up with, this is my answer right here. Alright, 12, 13. We have so much trouble with exponents. I don't know what happened. A squared, a to the fourth, r, t to the negative 3. All divided by t to the negative 2, t to the negative 4, r to the negative 3. Alright, so on this one, the directions say write them with positive exponents. So what I might want to do first is just make them all positive. Okay? You do that when you move them up or down, they change signs. So we have a squared, a to the fourth, r. Okay, they're already positive, so I'm going to leave them where they're at. These guys are negative, and they're in the denominator, so to become positive, they all need to come to the numerator. So here we go. T squared, t to the fourth, r to the third. Uh-oh, my screen just went dead. Okay, I'm assuming this video is still going. My computer's battery died in the middle, so hopefully it's working. Okay, so I just moved everything up to the top that was negative down here, and I'm going to move the only negative one in the numerator is t to the negative 3, so I'm going to move it down here and make it t to the third. Now I just have to clean things up. I have an a and a. When the bases are the same, we add the exponents, so that's a to the sixth. We have r to the first, r to the third, so it's r to the fourth. And we have t to the second, t to the fourth, that's t to the sixth. All over t to the third. Now these guys are like terms. There's more t's on the top, so we're going to get a to the sixth, r to the fourth, t to the, there's 6 across here, 3 here, so 3 of them will cross out, so we end up with t to the third. So hopefully that made sense for you. Okay, number 14. 14, and it looks like I'm out of room again. Okay, here we go, another board. New. Here we go, that was easy. Okay. We are on 14. We will eventually get done with this lesson. 14, it says, expand using the distributive property, write the exponents with all positive exponents. So this one's a little bit tricky to write down here. So a to the third, b to the negative third, times the quantity, a to the negative fifth, b to the negative second, all over a, minus 4b squared, all over a cubed. Now, a lot of you, you're going to use a distributive property. You're going to take this times this and this times this. A lot of you took it also times the denominator, but you got to remember this is over 1. So you're going to take 1 times each of these. This is only going to be times the numerator ones. So let's just kick this one out. So you get a to the negative 2, b to the negative 5. Remember, we add exponents when we multiply. Minus 3 plus minus 2 is minus 5. And this is all over a. Minus 4, a to the third, b to the negative 1. Minus 3 plus 2 is negative 1. All over a to the third. Now we can we have to look at the directions, and it says write all exponents positive. So I'm going to move my variables around and make them positive. So without skipping a step, on the top here I'm going to have A1 because I'm going to move both of these down. So you have to have a placeholder so that you know that you're in the denominator now. If you don't have that 1 there, you don't have a denominator. So you have A already there, A squared, B to the 5th. Here we have the 4 stays up here. The A to the 3rds, anything over itself just crosses out, and then you're going to have over B. So your final answer is going to be 1 over, remember you add your exponents when the bases are the same, A to the 3rd, B to the 5th, minus 4 over B. So that's 14. 15, another nightmare. I think anything with exponents that are turning into nightmares for us. 15. This one says simplify by adding like terms, write all the answers with the variables in the denominator. So this one just wants all the variables, negative or positive, to be in the denominator. So you get 2x to the 3rd, x to the negative 1, y squared, z to the negative 4, this is just a piece of work writing it down, minus 7x squared, y to the 3rd, all over z to the 4th, minus x squared, y to the 4th, all over z to the 4th, y. Okay, follow the directions. You are supposed to simplify by adding like terms. Whenever you do like terms, whenever you're going to add terms together, you need to either make all the variables exponents positive, put all the variables in the numerator, or put all the variables in the denominator. You need to make every one identical in the way that you write it down. So this one actually tells you to write all the variables in the denominator. So here we go. This 2 has an exponent of 1 on it. We talked about that today. It's not a variable, so we're not going to move it. So we're going to leave it up at the top. That's perfectly legal to leave that on the top. It only wants variables in the denominator. Now let's start moving everybody down. You can simplify first and then move down. Like I could add the 3 minus 1 and get x squared and then move it down. Now you could do that, but I've already started this, so let's just move them all down. X to the negative 3. Remember, this was positive. When we move it down, it becomes negative. X to the 1 was negative. We move it down, it becomes positive. Y to the negative 1. Y to the negative 2. Z to the 4th. We're just moving all the variables to the denominator. The 7 stays up there. Move this down. X to the negative 2. Y to the negative 3. Z just stays down there. Last term. We have 1, because we need to place a number to hold this. So we're going to move x to the negative 2, y to the negative 4. So we move these down, so we made them negative. Y and z to the 4th. Now we're going to add the exponents on the like basis. So we get 2 over x to the negative 2, y to the negative 3, z to the 4th, minus 7 over x to the minus 2, y to the negative 3rd, z to the 4th. Look at that, they're looking alike. 1 over x to the negative 2, y to the, we have a negative 4 and a 1, so it's going to give us negative 3, z to the 4th. These are all like terms because they have the same variables with the same exponents. These are your coefficients even though they're in the numerator. So we have 2 minus 7 would give us minus 5, minus 1 would give us minus 6, over x to the negative 2, y to the negative 3, z to the 4th. That one, I don't know if anybody got that right. It was that bad. Okay, 16. We can fit that down here. 16 was find the least common multiple of 9x squared, y cubed, and 6x cubed, y squared. You have to understand what a multiple is. The least common multiple is the common denominator, basically. It's what these will both go into. So if you kept doubling the 9, multiplying 9 by itself, you get to a number that 6 will also go into. So the least common multiple, they'll both go into 18. So it would be 18. And then you need the highest exponent so that they both can go into it. So it's x cubed y to the third. These both need to be able to divide into this one. Okay, last board, I hope. Alright, here we go. Okay, we are on 17. 5y minus x over 6x cubed y minus y minus 2x over 6x cubed y. And they make this one kind of easy. It's a common denominator, so you can just subtract them. It's like adding 1/5 plus 2/5, right? Denominator's the same, so you'd write 3/5. So it's a nice straight line there, isn't it? So you get 6x to the third y, and then you have 5y minus x. Here's where it got you. See this negative? We talked about this in class today. You have to take it times both of these. So you're going to have minus y plus 2x. So you're going to get 5y minus y is 4y, minus x plus 2x is plus x, all over 6x cubed y. We just whipped right through that one. Okay, 18, another problem. 18, here we go. Add 2 over a plus 1 over b plus 5 over 9. You can't just add the tops of those and mush these all together. You need to find a common denominator. Well, the common denominator is 9ab. So you have to make each of these denominators look like this denominator. Whatever you multiply the bottom by, you have to multiply the top by. So I'll do it a different color to make this easier. So we need a 9. Here we need a 9 and a b. So we have to multiply the top by a 9b. Here we need a 9 and an a. So we have to multiply the top by a 9a. Here we need an a and a b. So we have to multiply the top by an a and b. My a's and 9's all look alike, don't they? Okay, so you're going to get, after we do that, we're going to get 18b plus 9a plus 5ab. And that is your final answer. That wasn't too bad. Okay, number 19, surprisingly enough, it wasn't too bad. We'll just do it real quick. 20 I'm not even going to do. I just took off 1 point for everyone. That one was just too challenging. We haven't done any like that, so. Okay, this one, you find the area of, you have a shape, and you have to subtract off this circle thing with a half circle with a triangle. So you have a shape of a parallelogram. So you find the area of the parallelogram, which is 1/2, let's see, well, it's base times height, so it's 10 times 6. So that would be 60. That's the parallelogram. And then you subtract off a half a circle. So it's 1/2 pi, and then we look for the radius on the picture. When you get it back, you'll see it. It says the radius is 2. So 2 squared. This is the half a circle. And then you subtract off, there's a little triangle. So a triangle is 1/2 base times height. The base of the triangle is, it tells you in the problem, the base is 3. And then the height would just be the would be 4, because it would be the radius of the circle times 2. And then you just work that out. Most of you got that. Just make sure that you put your units on the end, or else you lose a point, and we won't worry about number 20. So hopefully that all recorded. Please watch this over and over again until you get the concepts, and we'll try to, I'll give you the test again and we'll try again.